Yo, 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 what's going on, everybody? It is your host, Chris, here with episode 47. Should I play that? What's going on, everybody? Another week, we're here with another episode, and we're here to have some fun. We're here to talk about some next-gen stuff. We're here to talk about, whether or not people need demos anymore. It's a real, I don't know, like it's a thing. But this week I got Rod in the building. Rod, how you doing, man? What's going on?
Good. I'm here. I love how, you introduce me like a special guest, and it's a good feeling. I'm here every week.
Because you are a very special guest. You're always a special guest.
Wow, that just warms my ice cold heart.
Oh man, how you doing? How's your last week? How's life?
It's good, man. I finally saw a movie for the first time in a month, which is like insane. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like that. Knowing me, that is like going without water for like a few days. But yeah, I've just been, as I've spoken about a little bit before on the show, like I've been really busy with doing moving stuff and just haven't gotten out to a theater. And I'm just not overly familiar with the area, and I have to have like the most premium of experiences, of course. So, I mean, I'm not paying for like some subpar stuff, but I finally did it. There was a Dolby Cinema. There's actually two Dolby Cinemas that are actually closer to me than ever before, which is really nice. And I actually haven't been to one yet. It's a part of an AMC, and like the Dolby Cinema experience in general is AMC exclusive, I believe. And I had from Christmas, I had a gift card from Fandango, and I was like, okay, cool, I'll use it on this, cause it's expensive as hell. It is like $20, $21 for a ticket.
Wait, a single ticket?
A single ticket.
Yikes.
Yeah. It's a lot. It is a lot, but with the caveat though is that it is actually really, really great. Like, it's probably one of the best theater experiences you could get. So that ticket price does come with like actual quality. Like, they're not bullshitting you here. It's actually really, really good. So the thing that makes it really great is that it's actually projected in like native 4K, with an actual 4K projector. And it actually, so the little promo in the very beginning, you know how in the theaters, you'll have like a bunch of, you might have some Coke advertisements, then you'll have like the AMC or the Regal or whatever, like they'll kind of advertise their own thing. Mm-hmm. What they'll do with this one is like it's literally like a Dolby AMC kind of plug and, kind of showcasing what it does. And as soon as the logo for Dolby pops up, it is extremely white on an extremely black background, and it actually says like, yes, the projector is still on, because it like goes dark, and it's actually super solid black. So that's kind of the advantage to something like that. And this kind of translates into gaming as well, because, 4K HDR is only going to get bigger, especially with these next gen consoles. It's really cool seeing it blown up on a really big screen like that, and seeing like how some of these films are meant to look. It really makes the colors pop a lot more. Everything is more vibrant, and like I said, the blacks are completely black. It's not like crushed blacks, which is kind of like a grayish tint that you might notice if something is really, really dark. Yeah. So yeah, that's great. And obviously it's a Dolby Atmos sound system. You have like, rumble in your seats. Like, it's so loud. Like they actually put literal rumble in your seats, which is pretty cool. It enhances things.
Okay. So you're pretty much getting everything at that point.
Yeah. Yeah, you're getting everything. And it's not like, and don't think of it like one of those D-Box experiences. It's not that. Like, it's not one of those like, they spray water on you and all that other stuff. It's not that at all. I would really say like this is a premium experience, like a film lover's dream, basically, is what this is, with like completely like sound that covers the entire area. Like, it's a spatial sound, which is crazy. So
are you seeing these, like, are you seeing specific movies like this, or are you seeing every movie like this?
Oh, like just me in general?
Yeah.
I mean, I will see like any movie, if it makes sense. Like, now this is reserved for like one theater that they have it in, like out of maybe 10 or 12 theaters, like you'll only see the Dolby Theater in one of those auditoriums. So they'll run like, one movie generally. They won't run like multiple movies at the same time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So for example, I went to go see 1917, and that was running for probably until maybe next week, because I would assume maybe like Bad Boys takes over. But yeah, like that's what I'll do. I mean, if it makes sense, like John Wick, something big. The next Christopher Nolan I have to see like on an actual IMAX screen, like a real film IMAX. But like most premium, like huge blockbuster experiences, yeah, like I'll definitely try to go to that theater from now on. And I'm gonna get A-List at some point soon, so it won't matter.
Oh, so wait, A-List covers those type of screenings too, right?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, listen, at that point you might as well just get A-List.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing, is like if I'm planning on going to this thing for more than like once a month, which I mean I probably would, then it's absolutely worth it, because at $21 a pop, it's it's already paying for itself.
Exactly. Yeah. That's interesting. I think at some point, me and you should go see a movie like that. I'm interested. You have me. Yeah, I'm intrigued right now.
Dude, yeah, you really should. You haven't been to the new spot yet, so I think that we should definitely do that. Hang out, grab a beer, play some Oculus. It'd be good.
And speaking about Oculus, we could go ahead and jump into our what you've been playing. So Rod, wrong screen. Rod, what you been playing?
Just a couple of things here. Some multiplayer bits I've been kind of dabbling in and out of. I plan on getting some single player stuff done next week, so definitely stay tuned for what I'll be diving into then. But this week was a lot of kind of comfort food gaming, I would say, and that included Modern Warfare, which I thought was notable to mention this week, because that game is like really growing on me every single week. Like I came out of the gate like really liking it, so it's not a situation where oh man, I don't know how I feel about this, and then I'm kind of steadily growing to like it. I already really enjoyed it, but now it's like I'm getting the flow down. Like my Call of Duty mojo is coming back, baby. Like it's coming back strong. I'm really getting pretty decent at the game. I mean, I still get mopped up every now and then, but like,
and I think that happens in Call of Duty. Like every now and then you'll jump into a lobby and like you'll just get stomped by. Like, I think me and you were playing. We were playing like Hardpoint, and our team never got a point, like at all.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, we did play like that. Yeah. It was that one map where it's so the is it headquarters or something, and like there's like a bunch of crates or boxes. It's a very small area. Yeah. I feel like. But yeah, you, me, and Cedric, we all played, and it was really, really good. I felt like I was kind of hot on some of those games.
Yeah. I think, what was it? There was a couple games where you were getting up there with the kill streaks. I was like, yo, that helicopter over our heads. Is that you, right? Is that you? Showed up. I saw your name pop up.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so satisfying. Like, and I'm really getting into the rhythm of not only just like the moment to moment gameplay, but kind of specking out my character and my loadouts and what I want to kind of use in which situation. And I think part of the learning curve of these first person shooters like this, especially these like military ones, is really learning the maps. That's it.
Yeah, that's the key point. Learning the maps. And I guess I sort of agree with you with like, after just playing for so long, like I also played it, this week too. Like just testing out different guns, seeing what you really like adding attachments, because that was something that me and Cedric weren't doing for a little bit. And then like, I guess I picked up like a blueprint for a gun and started using that, and it's an interesting gun. Like I feel like it's roping me into somewhat considering getting the season pass. Like I'm not like roped in all the way yet. Like it almost has me, but not there, not yet. I feel like I have to play the game a little bit more to really invest into that. And then I think season 1 is almost done, I believe. Right?
Oh, already?
There's like 28 days left, or I guess until like halfway through next month.
Oh yeah, I could believe that. I could believe that now. Yeah. I am the type of person that sticks to kind of like one or two guns and then that's it. And this game has so many options for you to take that I really try to, so what I do is with my loadout my loadout 1 might be assault rifles, loadout 2 might be like my snipers or whatever. Like I do try to experiment a little bit more because, once you start unlocking more guns, you can kind of get a better feel for what works in whatever situation. And I do feel that for the most part, the more guns, like the guns that you unlock tend to at least feel a little bit better. I'm not sure if that's totally placebo effect of just like, I've been using this gun forever and I just like the feel of this new one. But I will say for assault rifle wise, I think it's the M4A or M14A or something like that. Like it's, the third gun down on that list.
Yeah.
It's great. I love it. I feel like I've loved it in all of these Call of Duty games. It feels like the essential, like the quintessential Call of Duty weapon. But it's so good though, and all the attachments are great. It's almost hard for me to like get out. I mean, it works well at close range, long range. Like it's really kind of an all-in-one weapon. It's like it's the Mario gun, I would say. Mario's always like the all-around guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so great game, honestly, and that only keeps getting better, and I'm really, really enjoying my time with it. And the other game that I kind of popped into, and this is kind of all the time, but I felt like this was more significant for a few reasons, is Overwatch, of course. And man, I picked up a DPS character that I never thought I would pick up, which is crazy. I am a filthy Hanzo player now.
Oh no. Oh
Yeah.
no.
Yeah. Yes. You had the revelation I did when I really realized it.
So what was it? Was it something that you played a couple matches with him and something just clicked?
Yes. Absolutely. I could not play Hanzo before. I would have told you that he is one of the characters I would never be good at. Or I'm just not just good at him at all. Like Genji, I would say I would literally never be good at that character ever. I could play him for 100 hours and be bad. But Hanzo is, I just didn't really get him. I could never really hit shots or anything like that, but it was just a few games. I just kind of stopped caring about my rank, and I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna have fun at DPS and just play whoever. I want to be kind of a jerk. I'm gonna play Hanzo. And I started destroying people, like just completely decimating people in the game, like
nice.
As Hanzo. And I was like, huh. Because after the first game, I was like, well, maybe I just got lucky. Maybe they were just bad. Whatever. Like, okay. But then the second game, I was like, well, let's just run it again. I kind of had a little bit of fun, And then I kept destroying people, and I was like, okay, there might be something here. Once is an anomaly. 2 times we got a pattern going here.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what it is about him. I do love his storm arrows. It just breaks shields so easily. And I really love the skin I have with him. The Scion skin, and which has, it's like him in the 3-piece suit. It's really, well, I guess 2-piece because he doesn't have a jacket.
Yeah. I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, pretty awesome skin, and I don't know, something about like just getting the dink on people, like on their head, just from like halfway across the map. It's just so good. Like there was one point I literally didn't even aim, and I just like I hit a Moira straight in the head, one shot kill.
Ooh.
One shot kill. Yeah, just disgusting, absolutely disgusting. As is my main Hanzo play. So I actually am like rising through the ranks now. I was a low to mid gold DPS. Now I'm almost plat. I'm like 1 or 2 games from plat. I'm just kind of like grinding that out. And yeah, another reason why I wanted to kind of bring this up was because Jeff Kaplan was out there talking about very recently, kind of in the lead up to the Overwatch League in a few weeks, but he was talking about changing the comp again. And I don't love it. I don't love the idea. They're talking about experimenting with having 1 tank, 3 DPS, and 2 support.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it because it kind of changes. First of all, off tanks are going to be almost useless to me. There will be no forward momentum push if you don't choose if you don't choose a main tank. So I mean, and it's already hard enough to find tanks as it is in the game. As someone who plays like a lot of tank, most kind of half the time out of necessity rather than desire. But like, you know, I'm fine with filling a lot of times, so like I'll play a lot of tank. But you know, there's not a lot of us. There are not a lot of tank people, or people who could do it well, at least. And there's even less main tanks. You know, if you find a tank, they're more than likely going to play Hog or Zarya or Diva or Ball or something, and not an actual main tank. So shrinking that pool is not good. I don't see them doing that composition and 2-2-2 on top of that, because that's going to further split your player base. They don't want to do that. They've been vocal about that even with the Overwatch 2 stuff, so I don't think that's the move for them. So if that this might be much ado about nothing, but if that comes to pass, boy, I would like to see what that game looks like. I think they're doing it because they want to eliminate double shield.
Wait, go ahead.
I think they're doing it because they're trying to eliminate double shield.
Oh, okay. Because I was thinking they might be doing that to, I guess, make the gameplay, since I think they're really trying to push Overwatch League. You know, the teams as of this, current season or this upcoming season, they'll be actually playing in their cities. I think they want to make watching the game more interesting, which I feel like the game has been already. Like, you know, I feel like I could get someone that's new to Overwatch to sort of watch an Overwatch League game and somewhat explain it, and they'd be somewhat entertained. But I think they're trying to get more of like a, faster gameplay. They don't want to see any people getting like, walled off, or like just they don't want the triple tank like what was happening before. I think they're trying to stay as far away from that as they can.
Yeah, I think so. And in some ways that makes sense, but man, I would be really bummed like if that was the case. Like if they just decide to go that way. I just don't know how I like that. Well, I do know how I like it, and that's not at all. But yeah, we'll have to see. Keep our eyes open on that one. But that's pretty much been it for me, man. Just dabbling in some multiplayer. I'm super stoked to finish up some of my single player stuff and add some new titles to the mix. That'll be this upcoming week.
Yes, this next week I'm going knees deep.
Yeah.
Into some DBZ Kakarot. I'm excited.
Oh, I'm excited to hear from you on that, because I don't know. Like that game looks cool. It looks visually, really cool.
Yeah,
I just hope they pull it off.
It looks alright. So I'm going into this like I said, I'm really excited, but I'm going into this game knowing that it's going to be entertaining.
Okay.
It's going to be fun in some places.
All right.
But it probably won't be good.
Okay.
So, like, I'm setting myself up for that right now, that I know, like, the cutscenes are going to be on point. Just, like, the whole, like, aesthetic of Dragon Ball Z, just based off of the trailers that I've seen, look really good. Like, I'm, like, getting flashbacks of watching it, Toonami growing up. And at the same time, then I'm looking at certain gameplay mechanics where like the open world sort of looks, just sort of like there.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm tempering my expectations, but I know that I'm gonna have fun with it. I feel like at the end of the day, like I said, it's all about having fun with video games. If you're having fun, that's what matters.
And speaking of having fun, what have you been playing, Chris?
Good segue. Nice. So, it's been a slow week. For the most part, like the highlight of my week, the highlight of the week has been, playing the Oculus Quest at my cousin's house. He picked it up over the holidays. And like, I already knew what the Quest was. You've talked about it before on the show. We've talked about it, in previous episodes when we talked about VR. But just being able to actually like get hands on is a complete like, I need it in my life again. I need it in my veins. So I was able to just off the rip, I was like, yo, what games he got on here. Like, I hope you don't have just demos and stuff. He was like, well, I do, but I think he just started buying games. So he bought Beat Saber and he bought Super Hot VR.
So literally the exact same things I bought.
Yeah. So, and, Beat Saber is cool. I didn't really care too much to try it. I went straight into Super Hot because of my love and experience with that game. It's really fun. Once again, piggybacking off of what you said over, I guess, last episode. Just being able to, when, you're jumping into the headset, setting up the Guardian, which is like your room boundaries. So, as soon as you put it on, it's like, hey, like, are you going to be stationary where you're just going to be in one spot? If you do that, it's sort of like it's like a small circle where it's intended to be played in like really small places, or if you're doing like the whole sit down VR, like if you're watching stuff or, doing stuff like that.
And it recognizes and it remembers the previous play boundaries that you set. So you don't have to do it every time.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
But then, let's see, I think I tried playing in like a smaller room. I did the stationary. When you play Super Hot, you sort of want to move around. You want to, duck, dodge, dip, dive, and dodge. Mm-hmm. Reference there. Anybody got that?
Man, I'll be thinking about that one for a minute.
Wait. So, I'm surprised you. Well, this is more like a me type of movie, but yeah. So playing Super Hot once again, it's fun being able to, if you haven't like seen the gameplay or heard of the game, it's a game where you're essentially in a world where the world moves when you move. So, with this being in VR, I guess, like, my strategy in this game is basically I'll stand and sort of like survey the area. And whenever I like need things to move around, I'll just take one hand and just like start spinning it. Start spinning my hand while like still seeing what's going on. And a lot of people don't know this, but you could use like your gun or like other objects to block bullets or block things that are being thrown at you. So I'm essentially like going Ultra Instinct at this point where I'm seeing things and moving, and I was able to like go through a couple of the levels that my cousin was sort of like, yo, like, what are you doing? Like, why are you going through these levels so quickly? And I was like, hey, I have a little bit of experience. I'm a little bit pro at this game. So, played that for a good minute. Just the overall quality of the headset, because once again, this is a headset that isn't tethered to a game system, isn't tethered to a PC. It's its own functioning unit. Oh. It's actually really cool. Like, yeah. I would say comparing it to like PlayStation VR, like I honestly like playing Super Hot between PSVR and the Quest. Graphically, I couldn't really tell you the difference between the two. I'd say that I enjoyed my playthrough on the Quest because I was able to sort of set my boundaries and have like that bigger play area.
Yes, and turn around and all that other stuff. You have locomotion.
That's a huge difference in a game like that. So that's that's my experience with Super Hot. I was able to play another game, which he didn't know that of like that promotion of the Vader Immortal.
Vader, right?
So I was like, yo, let me hop onto the store. I'm gonna download Vader Immortal, and I'm about to be a Jedi. So just give me a second. So I downloaded the game, started playing, and you're right, man. Vader is tall as fuck. Like, it's actually pretty like intimidating having him like walk over to you and sort of like just stand over you and like look down at you.
Yeah.
And then just knowing who the character is, like it being in the world sort of intensifies like the whole moment of, meeting him for the first time.
Yeah, it's affecting. It's probably my favorite moment of I still haven't played episode 3 yet, but like in the first 2 episodes, it's my favorite moment is like when he first comes into frame, because it's like you're expecting it sort of, but like it happens so quickly, and then like just it's not actually James Earl Jones, but it's like close enough, and it's like just visually, I think the game just looks so good that I think that helps as well.
I love that. I just love VR games that give you locomotion. So, and that's like the ability of being able to use the control sticks to just move in their environment. So I know for some people, if you're just jumping into VR, it may seem a little weird that you're moving, without actually like moving your legs. But once again, you're looking at a VR Pro, and I was able to just jump in, start walking around. I essentially went to the settings and turned off any of like the whole like guidance systems. So like, I think there was like something where if you're trying to like turn around, it would like, alter the vision. No, turn that off. Yeah. There was one where it's like whenever you had to climb anything, it would like do it automatically, I guess.
Yeah. It can auto climb or skip sections, or it just won't let you fall.
Yeah, turned all of it off.
Yeah.
All of it. So I had like the full like experience playing this game. Nice. And just having a lightsaber in your hand, is dope. Like that sequence when you get it and you start using it.
Yes,
it's pretty gratifying. Like I had fun.
It's the same sounds from the movies that you recognize. Like the controller has a light hum to it, so like you feel it like actually vibrating in your hand. That's really cool. And they just do a good job of like making the combat is pretty basic, but they do a good job of like making it not feel as like as simple as it is. Like they really
like I think like that first enemy, like everything is super telegraphed, but then like the second pair of enemies that you fight with your lightsaber, like they'll be super telegraphed with like what direction they're going, but like in the heat of the moment, like it's, all right, he's going this way. Oh, snap. No, he's really going this way. So you really have to like adjust which way you're really blocking. Yeah. And, I got slapped around a couple times. I don't know if you can die, but like, I guess I got hit a couple times, but not enough to like kill my character.
Oh, right.
But, it was just, I still felt like a level of, anticipation, like just having like, these enemies drop around me and like just being in a lightsaber duel is pretty cool.
Yeah. Did you play episode 3?
No, so I didn't even know that the other episodes are unlocked. I thought it was just episode 1. So I gotta let them know to download the rest of them.
Yeah, it's cool because that promo gets you the whole series, which is awesome.
I thought that they would have. It's cool that it's all out right now. But the way, like, it was sort of, like, built up was like, episode 1, episode 2, episode 3. I was expecting to, like, sort of wait for those to just periodically drop. Unless it's been out for a while now, I'm not sure.
It's been out for a minute, I believe.
Oh, okay, so that's probably why.
Yeah. Did you try any of the dojo stuff?
No, I just had enough time to, play. I got, right to the end of episode 1, and the headset died. So.
Oh, okay. There is a really cool, there are some cool advancements. I mean, don't think of it like a major leap or anything, but like they introduced like, a cool gameplay, segment, basically, like in episode 2 that is really, really fun, and that makes the dojo stuff even more, I would say varied.
Okay.
Yeah. And another question too is, did you cast the Oculus?
Wait, what do you mean? Oh, like cast it to a screen?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. I didn't even know you could do that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So that's the thing. That's the only thing that I don't love about the Quest is that it makes, so a lot of that stuff is hidden. And I don't even think that the headset itself tells you that it can do it clearly. But you could do it one of two ways. You can actually cast from the headset to the phone or to someone's phone. So someone can like access the Bluetooth, I think, and then hop on. You have to use it on your phone though. So like on the Oculus app, did you get to play around with the app at all?
I didn't even know there was an app.
Oh yeah, so that's how you set up the headset in the first place.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how you like kind of get connected and everything, is you have to download the app on a smartphone. If somehow you don't have a smartphone, I don't know how you have an Oculus, because I don't even think you can pair it. I mean, really, like, I don't think that you can. But so you've got the app, you can cast to other people's devices who are using their Bluetooth, from your app, or you get a Chromecast and you can do it from there, like on a TV. Yeah. I think I casted one time and it was super hot, casted on my phone, and it started out a little choppy, so the connection wasn't like super, super great, but eventually it got a little bit better.
And is it choppy on the person that's watching the cast?
Yeah, the person that's watching the cast. I did see some reports, and this was like from mid 2019. So I know that they've been releasing updates on this, so maybe it got better. But I know that people said that sometimes the visuals would suffer like a slight downgrade when casting. I didn't notice that in Superhot. I mean, Superhot is not visually intensive anyway, but
yeah.
But I didn't notice any like stutter or anything wrong in the headset, so that was fine. But I mean, I was told that it was a little choppy on the phone, but it did kind of straighten itself out. So that's the only thing, is that I feel like casting could be a little bit better or easier to do, because it kind of sucks that you have to get like a peripheral to like kind of cast to the TV. But I mean, I also understand why, because like, you literally have no wires. It's all in the headset. So that makes sense. But yeah, I wish it was a little bit better implementation there.
Yeah, that's cool. No, I'm definitely, I'm going to try that out next time I play it. I did have a chance to try out the hand gestures, like when you're in the main menu. So, you could do like instead of using the controller, you could actually just use your hands to sort of swipe through the menus and it picks up your hand, like it scans your hand in.
Oh, yes. Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so, I mean, that was sort of, I don't know, like, it was a little wonky, but just, it's cool. Like, being in VR and then, like, looking down and actually seeing, like, a silhouette of your hand, and, like, it's
Absolutely.
actually, the motions that you're doing with your hand, that's what you see in VR.
Yeah. It's trippy. It's trippy as hell.
It is. So I'm excited to see when developers start putting that in their games. Cause like, the technology's there. Oculus has it out there. It's just up to, the developers to put it, like, patch it into their games.
Yeah. The head tracking as well. I hope that continues to be improved, because I mean, like, honestly, right now, it's the best ever been in the Quest.
Yeah. So yeah, all in all, like my hands-on experience with it was it's a thumbs up. Like excellent. I don't know, like there's so many things like I'm saving up for, but Oculus,
here comes the Oculus Quest to ruin it all.
Dang it. Yeah, so I gotta figure out some way to sort of like save up to pick one up for myself.
Yeah, definitely. It's not too bad. It's $400 for the 64 gig is not like the worst. Like, I mean, it's a lot of money, but like,
I'll say 64 gigs. You know me better than that. I'm getting the 128. Give me the $500 one.
Yeah, it's just that price point is so attractive because of where like VR was. Like, it's crazy. I mean, I'm not gonna like it's still a lot of money, but like, that's not something that, people are just going to sneeze out of their wallet. But like, I think compared to where it was before, where $1,000 was considered cheap, like that's, it's impressive. It's impressive.
Yeah. So really excited, to finally like, jump into the Quest, and just trying out some of these games, playing Vader Immortal. Like, he gave some really good impressions on it last week. So I definitely had to try it out, and I'm glad I did. But besides that, I think that's all I really did on the Quest. And, it's been like a, busy week for me, with work and then, just being back in the, full swing of things. It's 2020 where, what's crazy is that we're like halfway through the month. And for me, this has been the fastest I've gone through in January. Like, normally January feels super slow. It feels like, 2 months combined, but we're already halfway through this, man.
Man, can you believe it?
Yeah. So, and with that, we, like we said before, we have, some games coming out that's just, really close, really excited, to pick up. But, I guess that's, to be continued. To see, next episode, next couple of episodes, especially next episode, follow back up with us so I can tell you whether or not Kakarot's worth picking up.
Yeah, right. Next time on Should I Play That?
Should I Play That? All right, so next up, we're going to go ahead and jump into the news for the week. We will start off with the Pokemon Direct that happened about a week and a half ago. So the whole build up to, this Nintendo Direct it's just, to me, it's really funny. When it comes to like Pokemon games, if you play them like more than casually, like you sort of know the rotation of like how these games come out. So you have your mainline games that'll come out. You'll have a spin-off, which was something I was expecting out of, this Direct. You have your companion apps. So, with last gen, you had the what was it called? I know now it's called Pokemon Home.
It was called, yeah,
it was called something. It was another app.
Was it Bank? Pokemon Bank?
Pokemon Bank. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Pokemon Bank last generation. So, I knew they were going to talk about that as well. But, there was a toss up of us either getting a Pokemon Sword and Shield 2 or getting a Pokemon Generation remake. So the next Pokemon generation that's going to be remade, or that should be remade, is going to be, I think, 4th generation, and that's the Sinnoh region.
Okay.
So, for one, I'm going to say it now. I'm not a fan of the Sinnoh region. Like, that was like, I don't know, it was just like the one, generation of Pokemon where I wasn't really too big of a fan of like the designs. The designs were a little bit off, and like none of the, there's only like a couple of trainers in like the lore of Sinnoh that's, memorable. Like you have the champion, Cynthia, but that's, I don't know, to me, like that's the only like trainer I could really grab out of that region that's just memorable to me. Like, I guess for me, that's probably like a time of my life where I just didn't play Pokemon as much. Like, I still played it, but like, I honestly, like other generations, I could sort of like let what order of gyms you go through, who the gym leaders are, potentially like which Pokemon they have. Mm-hmm. Well, the shit, I just didn't care. So I guess I'm sort of, part of like the Sinnoh haters club. And I was excited when they didn't announce a remaster or, a remake of the generation. So they went ahead and instead of doing, Pokemon Sword and Shield 2, which I feel like if they announced that would have been wild. People would have been pissed. They're taking a new route. They are instead releasing DLC for Sword and Shield, which essentially for $30, you'll get 2 DLC packs, which will add new environments, new Pokemon, new clothing items, and like more story-based missions and stuff like that.
And this is $30, like for both packs, right? Because
exactly.
I was very confused when they announced that because they said $30 each, and I was like, I don't know what that means. Like, you don't often see DLC, like one piece of DLC, like one cumulative piece being referred to as like each. They just made it seem like part 1 was 30 and part 2 was 30.
Yeah, so while watching the Direct, I was also confused. I was thinking, so there's 2 expansions. There's the Isle of Armor and the Crown Tundra. And the way they sort of had like the DLC, like the theme colors, I was thinking, damn, I wonder if one of these DLCs is for Pokemon Sword and the other one is for Pokemon Shield. But it turns out they're both essentially for each game. So, like you said, it was confusing when they were saying both, but I guess they meant for both Sword and Shield. You're getting this DLC for $30.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, a little bit confusing there, but, like I said, it's cool that they are adding new environments, adding a extension to the wild area, which is pretty cool. And then, of course, like the biggest thing to a lot of people is that we're getting, missing Pokemon from the Pokedex. So each expansion will be adding more of those missing Pokemon.
And that means that they're gonna just be like in the wild for you to catch.
Yes.
Okay.
So, another I guess, bit of confusion for a lot of people is that they said that, the new Pokemon will be, available for everybody, but it's more or less available. So like if I get the expansion and I catch Pokemon, I could trade it to you if you didn't have the expansion.
That's the one aspect of that whole thing that actually made total sense to me. Like when they were talking about it, I was like, oh, okay. Cause I think at one point they even say like, you can trade amongst each other, but we'll have like certain Pokemon that are version exclusive, of past Pokemon. That part made sense to me. And I think that's actually a cool way to do it. And it incentivizes, and it's smart because obviously it incentivizes you to get the other version. Like, and they're always pushing like people to kind of, oh yeah, you definitely want both of these guys, like pay us twice. Like, you want both versions. And I think doing this DLC that way is like brilliant. Cause I actually wasn't sure, like, if, as they were kind of announcing this and saying, oh yeah, this is an actual expansion, like I actually wasn't sure if they were going to make everything available to everyone. And it sounds like maybe with the legendary Pokemon, like they'll be the same, like you'll have equal opportunity, but like with just the version specific ones, the past Pokemon, they won't. And I think that's interesting. I'm not mad at it.
Yeah, so for people that were annoyed that legendary Pokemon was like, because I think just in the base game, essentially it was just 2 legendaries that you got.
Right.
So they're adding past legendaries and like I want to say a good amount of them too.
Yeah, that actually segues into like my most like kind of anticipated feature of this whole thing is because I'll probably end up picking this up. I play pretty casually anyway, but like this looked kind of cool, and the thing I'm most excited about is that multiplayer dungeon, that co-op thing.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds really cool because that's what houses the legendary birds, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds super cool.
Yeah. So, and I want to see how that's implemented, because for the most part, when you're doing your, quote unquote co-op in the game, it's just those raid battles, and it's like, you're in a static battle and that's it. But they're making it sound like since you're in these caves, you'll be able to run around with each other.
Yeah, they sound like they're instances, basically.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
It's cool, and I sort of want to talk a little bit about I want to say controversy, but whenever these, things like this get announced, people want to be up in arms about stuff. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about, the route that Game Freak that they're taking. They're doing DLC instead of doing, full-fledged, like just, sequels. So to me, I appreciate the DLC. I'd rather do DLC than having to pay another $60 for another game. To me, I feel that to add more story, that's great. That's something that we've all been asking for in Pokemon games. And being able to continue like that story with your character instead of starting a brand new game with, you have to start over with new Pokemon, start over with a new character. The character that you played as in the previous game is like just missing, or it's like a no name that no one knows where they went. So, I think that this progression of like doing it as a DLC, containing the story all together in Sword and Shield, that's definitely like a, thumbs up, for me. I don't know, like I don't see why people are like super mad about it.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I don't understand that either. I can't say I was expecting this, because I guess I did just expect them to maybe put out a remake of this, like maybe in 2021 or so. Not this, sorry, of the Sinnoh game in 2021 or something. Obviously, Mystery Dungeon will probably be their 2020 offering, and this DLC now that we know.
Oh, and I loved how people, like, the people that are like wanting the Sinnoh remake, they were pissed that Pokemon Mystery Dungeon was announced instead.
Oh yeah, I have almost no history with Pokemon Dungeon, so I was like, okay, cool. But yeah, like I don't see why people would be upset about this, just because it looks like it's more of what people wanted out of Sword and Shield, or maybe didn't want. Maybe they have an opportunity to correct some of those things. A little bit. I guess they don't have that much development time on it, but it seems like it might be pretty like fairly early in development because there wasn't a lot of actual footage that they showed. Mostly it was like pictures and stuff. I'm just hyped because Blastoise is back in. Honestly, like he's my favorite Pokemon of all time. So like, and the fact that he gets like a Gigamax version, like I'm extremely excited about that. And even the Venusaur Gigamax looks like, or Gigantamax looks really cool too. So I'm kind of hype about that. Like that's nice. And I was kind of lukewarm on Pokemon Sword and Shield, but like I'd be down to play more of this because it was like a pretty breezy game for me. Like I enjoyed going through the new region. I enjoyed seeing like the sports aspect. I kind of want more of that. I can kind of take or leave the story. I don't really care too much one way or the other on that. But like I think it'd be cool to return to like this world with the team that I currently have and hang out with my Cinder Bunny or Cinderace, like a little bit. Like I think that'd be cool.
Yeah, and seeing the starters get like their own Gigantamax forms, it was pretty cool. I love that Inteleon is like in a sniper roost.
Yeah, what is that about?
Man, he's ready to take someone out.
Yeah, might have to get that starter egg from you so I can prepare.
Oh yeah, we definitely got to do that. And I still haven't finished my Pokedex. I'm trying to decide whether or not I'm going to try and complete it before these expansions come out. I don't know. I'm sort of like taking like the casual route now. Like, before by now I would have had the, Pokedex completed. I would have had some teams ready to, start battling folks. But I'm sort of, I feel like I'm like a retired Pokemon trainer where I'm just here for the good time, not a long time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is cool though. I think it's really cool and smart of them to do this, like how they're doing it. The release date seemed cool. One smack dab in the middle of the year, and then the next one coming out towards the end. I think that's fair.
Yeah. So, that's that story. Once again, when we get more information, we'll definitely talk about it on the show. Next up, let's go ahead and talk about the Epic Game Store. And I don't think this is their year in review yet.
Yeah.
But they put out some stats about total downloads, how much they've made, and they've made some good money.
I know you're loving this right now.
I'm loving it right now. So Epic Game Store, they've grossed about $680 million since its launch. Over 108 million accounts have been downloaded, at least one game from the store. Once again, Epic Game Store, essentially every week you can log on and they have like a game for you to download that you can just add to your library. So if you have a PC, go ahead and just make your account, do it. If you have a laptop, once again, just download the thing, and you don't even have to install the game onto your computer or laptop. You just essentially have to pair it to your account, and you're good to go.
Yeah.
Let's see. So there's been over 300 million Epic accounts registered across all platforms, and third-party game revenue is about 251 million, and that's 60% higher than like what they forecasted. So,
that to me is a pretty big deal as well. I mean, that means that they're getting interest from other, players and publishers, and that means that, the longevity of this could be, even better than they were expecting, for sure.
Yeah, because essentially, these developers and publishers, they're making more money by being on the store.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So.
Yeah. So with those stats, what do you feel? What are you thinking?
I mean, it's fine. Like I think it's fine. Epic Game Store is fine, people. It's fine. You could download another thing. I know, before we've had episodes where we kind of talk about, and I've said, I know, and I'll cop to that, it's like, oh man, I kind of get why people want, one thing, Epic Game Store exclusives can maybe be bad in the future, but at the end of the day, like, this doesn't really affect me too bad. Like, the free game stuff is really cool. They do give out some nice free games that are not a hassle to download, and clearly, given these numbers, like, people are taking advantage of it. We're in the hundreds of millions here of players. Like, that's nothing to sneeze at, I think overall it's at least healthy they're healthy as a competitor to Steam, in EA Access, I think, to a lesser degree. Like, and it's not been around for very long either.
Yeah.
So I think that maybe goes into how powerful Epic is as well as a publisher.
They're a powerhouse at this point. So, I gotta check these coupons I got from them too. Over like Christmas break, they gave people coupons, like $10 off.
Yeah.
So like, just to, be able to, like, and of course, I feel like this is like the carrot and the stick type of thing, where they're sort of luring us in, and who's to say that next year they won't? Well, I think they officially said that they're continuing the new games going into 2020.
Right.
So like I said, every week you can log in, get a new game. But who's to say that, next time they have like these big sales, that they won't do these deep discounts or hand out all these coupons. But I mean, if they keep doing what they're doing, what is there to hate?
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing, is like, some people could look at that and be like, they could look at these numbers and say, okay, well, buying exclusives works, and they wouldn't be wrong. Like, I don't know if it's the exclusivity that does it more than anything else, because I mean, when I think of the Epic exclusive games, I think of Borderlands 3. I know there was another big one in there, and I can't remember what it is at the moment, but, I think more than anything, it might have been the free games that also put it over the edge. I mean, given that, like, you said, 108 million accounts, have at least one of those games, like, one game, I would imagine that a high percentage of that is going to be like one of the free titles. I think they did download it for free. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think that this is like you just said, this is the carrot, on the stick.
Yeah. So, let's see if Valve, if they, start doing more things on Steam, EA Access, there's a bunch of storefronts that's on the PC. Let's see how people, react to this. So, once again, developing story. We'll see what happens later. Our last story now. We're going to go ahead and talk about a couple of statements that have been made for at least the Xbox Series X. That's what I want to talk about. I know PlayStation, they've gone on record and said something too about this.
Yeah.
But, the big news of this past week has been that the Xbox Series X won't have exclusives for their first year. So, I don't have what article this came off of, but this is like it's a Xbox rep, talking in an interview with, some website, and people, once this went live, people were up in arms. They're like, what do you mean that they won't have exclusive games? Why would I want to buy an Xbox Series X if it's not going to be exclusive?
Well, I think the important thing to note too is that, and I'm not saying it's not a big deal, because I mean, clearly it is, but like to specify, they said they will not have exclusive first party games in the first year.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that's what the actual quote was, rather than we're not going to have exclusive games ever.
Dang. I didn't mean it like that.
Okay.
But so it's, like you said, it's, the first party, which, for Microsoft has been like a big thing because of Xbox One, the whole lack of, exclusive games or first party games. But here's the thing, guys. I feel like, once again, this is another like internet thing blown out of proportion. If you look at, any of like the Microsoft consoles, PlayStation consoles that have come out, these consoles aren't really like released for them to be making money. Like, none of these systems have released and none of them have been profitable for at least a couple years down the road. So I feel that Microsoft, they're sticking with their mantra of giving the player choice. Mm-hmm. So, we have games like Halo Infinite. That's going to be, once that's out, you can play it on Series X, you can play it on the Xbox One, whether you have the Xbox One S or Xbox One X, for the people that have invested and bought that system, they'll still be able to get some use out of that investment.
Right.
Like I said, you can play it on PC, you can play on Project xCloud. Like you have numerous ways of playing this game. And that's what's, at the end of the day, that's what matters. That's what's really good about what they're doing with just their whole ecosystem of hardware. Of course, like I said, not everybody's going to run out and buy an Xbox Series X.
Yeah. And I mean, and this all comes down to Microsoft. I mean, their priorities are just different right now. Yeah. Like they're not going to chase after the same thing that Sony is going to do. Like I think Sony's going to stay relatively in their lane. They are trying to give, I think, everyone the most traditional console experience I think you can get. And I'm not saying that as a bad thing. I'm not. Like I enjoy what they give us, but I think they're also they're shooting for number one in the way that we expect them to. Mm-hmm. Microsoft's not really playing that game anymore because they can't. I don't think that they think they can win that way. And that's the thing is that like, you're not, think of it like the Marvel and DC stuff, right? Like Marvel makes films in a very specific way. Like there's no denying like the just consistent quality of them. Like whether you dislike them personally or like them, I mean, there is a quality to them that, is expected, and like they don't veer too far off that course. Like even if like, maybe one movie might be vanilla and the other one's chocolate, they're both still ice cream at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. But with like DC and what they're trying to do, I think they've been more unsuccessful trying to replicate all the stuff that Marvel's doing, and then they're going off the beaten path with making things like Shazam and Wonder Woman and things that don't feel so tied to that specific formula. I don't mean to get too far off the beaten path with that comparison, but my point is that like they're winning. DC is winning right now, not by not playing Marvel's game. Like they're the latest like 3 movies that they've made, maybe 4, like have made a shit ton of money and have actually like been critically and like commercially successful. So like I don't like with Microsoft and the statement that they're putting out, I think like what they're really saying here is that, we're focused on Play Anywhere. Like we're not going to have like a bunch of first party exclusive in the first year or so because like we're going to be focused on giving you your games literally everywhere you go. We're focused on launching xCloud. We're focused on like Game Pass and things like that. Like that's where they're kind of banking they're hedging their bets on. Whereas Sony is going to say like, hey, look, we got Sucker Punch. We got Naughty Dog. We got Insomniac. Like we got, all these studios here that, well, maybe not. Wait, Insomniac they're away from Microsoft now, right? Like that just happened. Okay. Like we've got all these, amazing studios, Santa Monica, all these great studios here in-house, and we're going to give you these great single-player cinematic experience games. Like that's what we're going to do for you. And that's great, but that's one lane. Nintendo's obviously, they're always doing their own thing. So that's them. And that's all this really means to me right now. Like, until we really get more concrete information and we see what the hell they're doing, like, behind the scenes, like, I don't think that this is really a cause for alarm.
Oh, no. Yeah. Like I said at the beginning of this, all of this is really blown out of proportion. I think Microsoft, they're playing, like, the long game right now. where they're like, past couple of years, they've been, investing in these studios. They've been investing in the technology with, Project xCloud. They've, revolutionized, the industry with the Game Pass, which once again, the best value in gaming, hands down, is Games Pass.
Right. Absolutely.
I feel like Microsoft is in a good spot for you can sort of look at it like if you're playing like League or something like that, where like, the beginning of the game is sort of, you might have really messed up your character, or like it's really slow at the beginning, but you're really starting to think of end game. You're thinking late game.
Right.
And they're setting themselves up now so that once they get into the late game, they're going to be the ones standing on top. Or they're going to be the ones that at least will be shaking up the industry to like make Sony, start doing cross-platform, or make Sony change how PlayStation Now functions. So they've already started making these moves that are now affecting Sony. So at the end of the day, Microsoft, they're in a good spot. They're not going anywhere. There's no doom and gloom that we have to worry about with Microsoft.
No, they'll be fine.
Yeah, it'll be good. Stop crying, people. So, at the end of that, we want to hear from you guys in the comments. How do you guys feel about, what they've said about, the first party games not being exclusive? Do you care? Or are you, so team PlayStation that, you're sort of blinded by like how insignificant this whole conversation is at the end of the day? Because some people, I feel like they're so into the whole PlayStation versus Xbox that I don't know if it's because it's like, them being part of like a quote unquote team that they have to like, battle to the death with people for these things.
So what you're saying is that console wars are stupid.
Yes. How many times have we said this on this show?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, they are bad and dumb. Please don't do them.
Yeah. So, we want to know what you guys think in the comments. Or we want to know what you guys think, on our social media pages. So, once again, we're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, anywhere, we're there. At Should I Play That? So if you're not following us already, follow us, join the conversation, and join the family. So with that, we're going to go ahead and jump into our topic for the evening. And with this topic, it's a story that I saw on Reset Era, where a small indie developer essentially, and I want to say small, like really small, they essentially put their game on Pirate Bay because, I guess they weren't really seeing sales or anything, or that more or less they wanted to have people, I guess, try out the game. And then like at the end of it, they were like, hey, there's no gimmick here. We just ask that if you really like the game, go on Steam and, pick it up. Essentially, they saw a huge uptick, 400% uptick in sales. And I don't know, it sort of got me thinking, that like demos, like you really don't see demos, like in the PlayStation Store anymore or in the Xbox Live Store.
You do, but they're not advertised anymore, really.
Exactly.
Like it's very rare. Like there's a demo section like in Xbox Live, in PlayStation Network, in the eShop. Like there are like designated spots that say, hey, this is the demo section. But it's very rare nowadays where like, you'll get any media about it. I mean, the PlayStation Network, in my opinion, does a really poor job of telling you where anything is at any given moment. But I think the Nintendo shop, in all honesty, does a better job of like kind of telling you in like your news feed that you get on the Switch, like kind of where things are, or at least like, hey, this demo's out, because I've seen more than once like a demo that has released and it will appear like in my feed there, and that's nice. But it doesn't happen a lot anymore. I mean, the core comment that you're making about them just not being much of a thing anymore is absolutely true. Like that part is right.
Yeah, so this week we sort of want to talk about like how, like, and once again, in the comments, let's talk. Let's chat about this. But how do you feel about game demos in general? Should the industry bring them back? Do you think that they're dead? Because I mean, there's been like studies in the past that, like for some games, like them releasing a demo has essentially like, lost them sales because people will jump into the game and like completely be thrown off by it. And it's like a couple times that's actually happened for me. Like in particular, I'm thinking of, I think, Dead Space, like the original Dead Space. I played the demo of the Dead Space game, hated it. Like, I was like, yo, this is stupid. I'm not going to buy this game anymore. And then, like, later down the road, like, just happened to just pick up the game off the whim and loved it. Like, just fell in love with the franchise. And, like, it's just weird that there was something about the demo that was just, it either didn't click or something which was just off-putting for me that stopped me from buying the full game. So I can attest that it's true. Sometimes demos may show a game in a weird light that will sort of throw you off of a game, or it may just, save you from a purchase of, you just straight up wouldn't have liked the game. It'll save you the $60. But I don't know, like there's these small instances where something like this will happen where people, when they finally get their hands on the game, they're like, wow, I really like this game. Let me go ahead and buy it.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a few reasons for this, to be honest. So one of them is that, it is what you actually just said, is that the studies are correct. Like, sometimes people are kind of satisfied, like they know what they're getting at that point, and so they know if they're going to get it or they know if they're not, and inevitably you'll get a bunch of people that say, oh, you know what, I don't need to spend, $50-$60 on this thing, like, all right, I'm good. Another reason, I think maybe even perhaps the bigger reason, is that developing a demo takes away resources from actually developing the game itself. That's a large reason why when a lot of these demos get released, and a lot of developers have talked about this in the past, they'll actually be like trade show demos and things like that. Like when the Final Fantasy VII demo drops, like at some point in the near future, like it'll probably be that E3 or PAX demo we've seen numerous times, like the one with the boss battle, with the robot thing. I forgot the name of it, but like it's the one that we've seen, before. And that's because like the developers are not going to waste time and resources developing a demo where they need to arbitrarily like cut things off. Like people think that demos are just like a vertical slice of the game that they just kind of like say, okay, well now you just got to stop playing here. It's like, no, they actually have to construct like certain parameters of like the actual design of the game specifically for play in this environment. So it's like it's literally a thing that they have to create specifically for demo purposes, and that is something that has to be budgeted for. It needs to be allocated time wise, like for the development team. Like it's something that they need to accurately anticipate and plan for. And there's just not a lot of time to do that, especially in the game development environment that we have now. It's just not feasible, or as feasible as it once was. And so the publishers just ultimately aren't seeing the results bearing enough fruit to continue doing that. And that's a large reason why we don't see a lot of demos today.
So I guess going back to the question, like, do you feel that the industry should bring back demos, or maybe find a different way of like implementing these type of things? Cause like I love how Nintendo, they like for the most part, Nintendo's hit or miss with how they handle demos. It's either, hey, you have this game, you can only play it for 15 minutes twice. After that, you can't play it anymore.
Right.
That sucks. I hate that. But then you have demos like Dragon Quest XI, where it's like a nice like little chunk of the game, but then you could also take what you did in the game and carry it over to the full game.
Right. Yeah, I mean, as a consumer, like of course I love demos. Like, I mean, there are certain ones that I won't play. Like, the Dragon Quest XI one is one I'm a little hesitant to play because like it is such a, you could play that thing for like 10 plus hours, and you know I don't want to do that and then put it down for, you know, I don't know, months, and then go, oh yeah, I want to play that Dragon Quest thing, and then kind of like start over from my 10-hour mark, because then at that point it's like, well, I've forgotten everything, so it's not really worth it to me. So demos like that kind of scare me sometimes, but if it's something like, I'm trying to think of something really cool, because I've played some good stuff recently. It's like some good demos. Code Vein is a demo I played recently, and that's funny because I actually discovered I didn't want to play that game, like after trying it. You know, it was okay, but I played it and I was like, you know what? I'm okay. I'm good on this. I'm good. This is nice. Maybe at $10 I'll play it, but like I'm actually good on this. But yeah, I think the way that Nintendo does it is super special. And again, like I, as a consumer, would love to see more of them. I just don't know another way to do it. I do appreciate the network tests though that get put out, because they help. Yeah, they help strain like like servers for the game. And, you know, obviously the developers are able to better assess, like, you know, maybe, load traffic and things like that. And it's a pretty decent chunk of the game as well. I'm more familiar with like Dark Souls and Nioh and things like that. I think maybe Division did it, I want to say. Ghost Recon, like a lot of those type of games do it. I think like always online games are pretty good for this as well, and tend to have a lot of network tests. But some of my fondest memories, like from back in the day, are demos, like the Dreamcast Power Pack 1 or whatever it was called, like that had Sonic Adventure 1, House of the Dead 2, Power Stone.
Classic.
It's insane. Like the Sega Bass Fishing, like that's a classic too, man. Like they had so many great games on there. And you know, the Dreamcast magazine and the PlayStation magazine had demo discs every single month. And those were really exciting times. I don't know, we're never going to go back to that. But
yeah, it's, yeah, I think like that whole era, like it came and went, and I think that's it. I don't know, maybe, digitally, like digital type of, demo disc. I don't know how that would work, but
I mean, the idea is possible, and I mean that's kind of what we have now, right? I mean, with the demo sections on these proprietary stores, like that is what those are. Like they're accessible to you at any time. You know, you could go grab a game off of those shops and play it. Like those are the demo discs nowadays, really. Unless you're talking about like, hey, like monthly demos or something like that.
Yeah, like just more or less like curated demos that I'm trying to remember. I think, I know like certain magazines will have like, when they had those monthly curated demos, they'd like, you have like a little bit of like a deeper dive on the game. So you know a little bit more about the game, like more of like the behind the scenes type of stuff.
Yeah, they did have like some cool behind the scenes videos, sometimes related to that game and sometimes not.
I think PlayStation did that. I think there was like a PlayStation magazine that, when they had those demo discs, they would have like exclusive like videos, so you could sort of see like the development of these games. So we're just in a different time. I feel like what this, go back to the beginning of the story, that what this indie developer did, I feel like on a smaller scale, doing stuff like what he did, putting it on Pirate Bay, and sort of like, for one, putting it on Pirate Bay, getting like the generation that way, but then also getting the buzz of like, I think it was Polygon that wrote the article. Now that, Polygon's talking about it, you have more eyes on it. You have more people that are either going to go to Pirate Bay and play the game that way, or they might just go to, Steam and just pick it up.
How expensive was the game? What's the MSRP on it?
I think it's pretty cheap. Like I said, it's a really small game.
Right. It's funny because like you could have released it on the Nintendo Switch and then discounted it by 99%. Like all the other developers.
Yeah. And that's a whole other thing. But, all right, so I pulled it up on Steam. It's a $10 game.
Oh, okay. So not too bad. Yeah, I mean that's good. I mean, good for him. this decision to make, his choice to make, and, clearly it's paying off for him. It got the attention that I think he wanted it to get. So, yeah. I mean, it's cool. The era of the demo, I feel like, as we remember it, is over. But, I mean, there are so many other ways to try all these games now, like PS Plus. They do those 30-day trial things, or maybe not 30 days. It might be like a week or something. Maybe, I don't know. It's like a certain amount of time you can play. Xbox Game Pass, obviously, is so cheap that you can try a shit ton of games for not a lot of money at all, like a few dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's really good. I think also free to play is such a big thing now. It's such a big business model that I think that you could theoretically play games for quote unquote free, for a really long time and be okay. I think just the gaming industry, the landscape has changed so much that I don't know if we need demos in the same way that we did before, but they're always welcome. They're always welcome.
Yeah, I think it's one of those, like, we're showing our age when we're talking about demo disc and gaming magazines. Like, people nowadays are like, what is that? What's a game? Oh no, Game Informer's still alive. What's a magazine? Nintendo Power. Yeah. Just what's a magazine? That's the real question right there. So, yeah, like it's an interesting topic. It's interesting sort of like, stepping back and sort of like looking at things like this. So, that's why we like doing this on the show. That's why we like bringing up these topics. We want to hear from you guys. What do you guys think? Do you guys like demos? Do you don't care about it? Or are you, a person of culture and you just buy all your games just straight up? Or are you, smart and savvy and you have Game Pass? Or you use these other services where you could, pretty much get everything all together.
Yeah, you could be like me and just play just play some good demos. Just play some demo, because I can't resist a good demo. Like if it's something that I've been anticipating for a while, maybe I won't play it. Like I know if it's coming out and I know I'm gonna purchase it, I might not play it. But if it's something I'm super on the fence on, it's just like it's a good opportunity to gauge interest. Like you said in the very beginning, maybe I get turned off by it, but maybe I get become more interested, and
so I just thought about this. I think thinking, ahead. I think the new age demo now is to give a content creator a game for them to stream.
Absolutely.
A lot of people watch streams. A lot of people, they'll watch or listen to our podcast and like, Rod really liked this game. Let me go ahead and check it out. Or Chris is really raving about this game. I should pick it up. Or Chris is talking too much about this game and I'm pretty much damn sick of it. I'm not going to buy it. I'm kidding.
Right.
But I think that's the next thing. And I think that's not even the next thing. That's what, the industry is sort of leaning towards now. Mm-hmm. On the way home, I was listening to like a streamer talk about Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. They already have the game. They're like early on, like they're able to stream the game right now. Or as of, us recording this episode, they're able to stream it, but they can't put their reviews out yet. So,
always a good sign.
So, so people have been like streaming it and tuning into these streams just sort of to like, check out the game, see a little bit more. I think with like how big streaming is nowadays, I think that's it. I feel like that's the most cost effective way of, demoing out a game is to, hand it out to someone that has, a decent following and having people watch it from there.
Yeah. I think that's it. That's the future. Streamers. Great.
You don't sound excited. No,
great.
I feel like you just want your demos and you're more of a hands-on person. You'd rather have it yourself, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's hard for me to like sit and watch people. I think the only people I think I do that with is the Giant Bomb crew, and it's nothing. It's really nothing against like like streamers in general, well, some of them, but like, you know, I think that, yeah, I am more of a hands-on person. I need to be able to like kind of see and touch and like kind of interact with the media myself, just in order to find out like if I'm really gonna like it. Cause if I'm watching someone do something and it's just like, I wish I was in there doing that right now. But I think that's just maybe a me thing.
Yeah. And the same, like, you know, talking about like the streamer that I was listening to, never watched Dragon Ball Z. So like sort of hearing him like, you know, talk about certain characters and like, oh, I wonder if this character is, you know, gonna do this. I'm like, of course, what's the word? Pleb? You plebe?
Yeah.
Pleb?
Yeah, let's go with that. That actually sounds really interesting because I listened to Jeff Gerstmann and Dan Reichert go into big shout out to Dan Reichert, by the way. He left Giant Bomb to go do some other stuff, but yeah, definitely will miss him. But they actually talked about Dragon Ball Z on a podcast, like, and they didn't even like anime at all, and then they watched Dragon Ball Z, and that was a journey, my friend. That was
Didn't they like go through like the series?
Yes, they went through the beginning of Dragon Ball Z up until the end of the Buu saga. So I guess, yeah, that's all of Z then, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they did all of Z. They haven't done Super and they didn't do the original Dragon Ball, and I don't know if they'll do any more now that Dan left, but that was great, called All Systems Goku. Great show, just about people who did not like anime before watching Dragon Ball Z, and seeing them come out on the other side is just glorious. Absolutely glorious. And also, Dragon Ball Z is absurd as shit. And it's just like, I mean, I love it. It's great, but like, it is insane. And as someone coming in fresh, like just kind of getting that fresh perspective it's hilarious to me.
Yeah. Well, this is going to be it for another episode. This is episode 47 in the bag. Rod, what you got for us, man?
Oh, man. Speaking of demos, Oculus Quest has some good demos you could try if you have a Quest. I don't know. I was trying to turn that into something. I don't know. As always, play some awesome video games. Have fun. Live life. Also, if you want to support us, definitely leave us a comment or rating on our iTunes page, you know, in the podcast section. We've got a few reviews up there. We've got some ratings as well. Always excited to see those. It just helps with our visibility. It is the way to help support the show if you've enjoyed us up to this point. Really appreciate you guys. That's it.
But yeah. Like our stuff, share our stuff, just comment, join the family. That's what it's all about. And guys, play more video games, have fun. That's the key, is having fun. A lot of people like blow these things out of proportion. There are a lot of times I'm talking to video games, talking about video games with people just out and about. And, they'll like complain about certain things and they'll like keep complaining. And I can pull them off to the side and I'm like, hey, are you okay? Like, are you having fun?
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, you know what? No, I'm not having fun, but like I don't know. It's like it scratches the itch, but then at the same time, like they're hating it.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of pull yourself out. Like, play something different. Play something, new. We talk about different genres on this show. We have our Game of the Year 2019 episode. Ton of great games on that episode. So if you're looking for something new, check it out. Katana Zero, great game. Shout out to them once again. But that's gonna be it for us for episode 47, guys. Have fun, be positive, drink your water, and stay beastly. Peace.